Hi guys, welcome to Loop Dev. My name is Mush and today we're kickstarting our first video for the JavaScript tutorial series where we'll learn JavaScript from scratch. In this video, I'll be discussing what are some of the tools you will need to follow along with me in this tutorial series. Before we begin, I would like to point out that this tutorial series is aimed completely for beginners. Some prior knowledge of HTML and CSS or any other language would be advantageous, but not really required. Now, what is JavaScript? I can give you the Wikipedia definition that JavaScript is a high-level, dynamic, interpreted programming language standardized in the ECMAScript language specification. But those are just words. How I like to think about JavaScript is that JavaScript really helps to bring your website alive. JavaScript is everywhere nowadays. It has become a crucial part of the modern interactive web era. We can make really cool, interactive, and dynamic contents on a web page with JavaScript by simply manipulating our HTML and CSS contents. Consider a modern web page with great content, fancy design layouts, and advanced interactivity put together by your browser. What you see there is three distinct layers of code put together. And those three core technologies are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The first layer is HTML, which sets the base structure of the web page. I like to think of it as the underlying skeleton which we will improve upon later. The next layer is CSS, which is used to enhance our overall presentation of the website. You can define what fonts, what colors, and positioning of your contents in a web page with CSS. So, just to recap, HTML handles all the contents such as headings, paragraphs, lists, and images and links. And CSS is used to make those contents look prettier with fonts, colors, positioning, and so on. The third layer is JavaScript, or some people might call it the interactive layer. JavaScript is a scripting language that runs in the browser and interacts with the HTML contents and CSS rules that you defined to change what you see and what you do. So let's write some JavaScript code so that you can see how it looks like. First off, we will need a text editor or an IDE to write some JavaScript code. Now, there are lots of code editors out there, but my choice of editor is Visual Studio Code. You can use any code editor of your liking. There are really great editors out there such as Notepad++, Sublime Text, or Atom, but my choice of code editor is Visual Studio Code just because I'm so used to the interface by now. We can download Visual Studio Code from here. You simply go to Google and just type Visual Studio Code. And you can see download link here, just click that. And you can see here it's pretty much available for any platform you want. So whichever platform you're on, download the version that you are looking for and just hit download. Once you're finished downloading and installing it, it'll look something like this. First thing we want to do is add a folder to your workspace. So you can do that by simply hitting File and add a folder to Workspace. Click that. And I'm going to make a new folder here and I'll call it loopdev.js series. But you can name it whatever you want. And create, add. So you can see it'll add the folder in my workspace right here. And I'll right click on my folder and I'll add a file to that folder. And I'll call it index.html. Press enter and it will take you to that file automatically. As you can see, we're in this file right here. Now what I want you to do is hold right shift and press 1, which will print out the exclamation mark. And there are some suggestions over here and I want you to enter on the first one. Once you enter, it will simply just print out a HTML template, which is nothing too complicated, and it's not too fancy as well. As we can see, it's just a simple doc type with some HTML tag, head tags, and that's it. Now, before we get any further, I would like you to download this extension from this extension tab right here. So if you click the extension tab, and I want you to write live server. This is the one I highly recommend you guys downloading. So just click that, and it'll look something like this. So you can just press install here. Now my one's different because I've already installed it. So just go ahead and install it. And once you're done, just go back to your Explorer tab. What Live Server does is, as we write our code and save changes, it'll automatically save those changes and display it on the browser almost immediately, which makes our life much easier, as you'll see in the future. So in my body tag, I'm going to add a script tag to write my JavaScript code. Spell it correct. So that's my script tag, and inside this I'll write my JavaScript code. So after you've done that, hit Command S to save on a Mac or a Control S on a Windows PC. You save it and go to your index.html file right here, right click and open it up with Live Server. So what it'll do is it'll take you to the browser and it will immediately show you what you printed out in the browser. And in the future, as we make changes to our code, it will just show up in the browser immediately. So let's try it out again. I'm adding a break tag, which simply adds a new line. So I'm gonna add one more line of text here and I'll save it. And boom, it's already updated and it's showing me the changes that I just made. Thank you so much for watching, guys. That brings us to the end of this video. So if you like the content, hit the like button, consider subscribing to our channel for future content. And if you have any questions regarding JavaScript or anything that you saw in the video today, just leave it in the comment section and I will get back to each of you personally. Thank you.